Good Tuesday morning, my friends. Welcome to Virgo. So, for all my friends who have Virgo in their birth chart, happy birthday. And yes, Virgo is more than the horoscope that maybe you look up in when you're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I've said this before, knowing even a little bit about self and that astrological birth chart really goes a long way in helping you figure out more about yourself because we actually have three. We have the sun, our sun's zodiac, our moon zodiac, and then an ascending or a rising. They have two names. I don't know why. Anyway, those are really important because sometimes when you read that horoscope, you're like, well, that doesn't really apply, kind of, sort of, not really. It really just depends on what's happening and what aspect is really predominant with you. So there's lots of free charting sites out there. You don't have to go spend a lot of money. You just need to know where you were born, the time you were born. I think that's it. Well, obviously the date, when, where, and basically why. And that will help you. And then you'll see the three of them in play. And you'll start to see how they interact. So for us who don't have Virgo, I don't have Virgo in my birth chart. Virgo is going to be interesting for us. So Mercury is going to rise. Mercury retrograde is going to rise with Virgo, which a lot of times that doesn't matter so much. However, unfortunately, the ruling planet of Virgo is Mercury. And Virgo is that attention to detail, that connection kind of zodiac. So we're going to see Virgo really struggle. So depending on what is said today, will show kind of how much we're going to struggle and how Mercury retrograde is going to, it's kind of a foreshadowing into Mercury retrograde. Now, don't worry, it's like 2 and a bit weeks, I will be doing a Mercury retrograde reading just for Mercury retrograde because it comes in on Virgo and then it goes out on Libra. So we're going to have a changing of the guard in Mercury retrograde. Now, I don't think I've changed the description. However, after this session, I will. Right now, I don't think there is a tarot or an oracle deck. The tarot deck I'm going to be using, this is the Crystal Visions Tarot. I love it. It's beautiful. The artwork is amazing, and it's very clear and easy to read. I've paired it with the Sacred Earth Oracle, because we know right now the one thing that's going to help us out the most is that grounded stability. And Sacred Earth really does help us find that. Okay, so let's get into this. What can my friends expect from Virgo in 2022? I asked that they keep them on the table, but who knows? It's never easy. Okay. I don't know if it'll fit, but we'll make it work. The Knight of Wands. We're going to feel that get up and go. The trick, guys, though, this is Virgo. Virgo is the attention to detail. You're going to miss out on Virgo if you're going too quick. Each knight in the deck has kind of a speed, if you will. The swords is booking it into the storm. The wands, it's got a good gallop to it. Whereas the cups, he's just kind of sauntering. He's just like, yeah, I'm beautiful. Look at me go. And then the pentacles is like, no, I work here. That's it. So we want to make sure we bring down that speed. That need for get up and go, well, it's going to cause problems because we're going to miss out on those little details. And it's in those little details that we're going to find the most information and most gratification. Yes. The Three of Cups. Now, yes, we are going to be going into Mercury retrograde, and yeah, that's going to be a bit of a bear. It always is, right? But Virgo is that connection. It is ruled by Mercury. So that communication, that connection, we can't lose sight of it. It's going to be an easy thing to do because we're like, Mercury retrograde, no. So making sure that we take that time and making sure that we give ourselves that permission to work with our friends, hang out, have that glass of wine, have that laugh, because that shift in energy will go a long way for you. Yes, the star. I do believe the angels brought this card out for you guys, but that balance, that attention to where our energies is going, and of course, following that pathway forward. Yes, we want to move forward, absolutely. However, we want to do it in a very kind of controlled, slow manner. We don't want to give up those little pieces, and we don't want to miss out on the beauty and the wonder that's right here. The star talks about the stability of the land and that beauty of the water, that spiritual aspect of self. Feeding both the land or the water and the land is going to be important. So that balance is going to be key. Whereas we do want to work on self, we don't want to forget our friends and family. Where we do want to pay attention to detail, we don't want to get stuck. So it's going to be kind of a push and pull. Checking in to where you're at and checking into what's happening right now. And that's going to be a big key for you guys as we go into Mercury retrograde, because checking in to what is said and what is heard will help kind of diffuse some of that. Yeah. That meaning, that connection, that fulfillment. We have the Ace of Wands here. That Ace of Wands is like that match being struck. We want that, we want that connection. We, like the angel said yesterday, we can't just go methodically through our life. We need that fulfillment. We need to have connection and meaning in what we're doing. Virgo is offering you that connection. How? By slowing down and being observant to what is actually happening. Because it's in that actuality that's going to go, the longest way. Sometimes we have that assumption that something's happening, that this is what's occurring. Virgo is reminding you it's not always the case. Just to reconfirm the Two of Pentacles. So of course, that balance. I did mention it with, is it going to stay there? Yep. I did mention it with the star on the importance of that balance. The Two of Pentacles adds in that grounded element I spoke of earlier. The more stable we are, the more we're going to be able to start to move forward. The more we're going to be able to follow that star, use our creativity, use our intuition to our advantage. Picking up those small little pieces, those small little ahas that Virgo is kind of littered throughout our journey. And yeah, it's going to be really easy to hermit ourselves during the latter part. Well, actually, it's not even the latter part. It's 2/3 of Virgo's reign. We need to make sure that we're not missing out, that we're not causing that internal hermit to explode and we turtle ourselves. We want that connection. That Three of Cups is very important. And you'll see that we've got a lot of creativity in this spread already. So we have the star, and the star usually has a weird bird in the background. It's the god of creativity, Egyptian god of creativity, which I can never remember his name. If someone knows, they can put it down below. But we've got the Egyptian god of creativity. We have, the first card was a wand, the second was a cup. Wands are that kind of fulfillment and connection piece to our creativity, whereas that cup is our intuitive creativity. It's a yin and yang of creativity. We need both aspects. If we don't have meaning in what we're doing, if we don't have that fulfillment, we're just going through the motions. And if we are not connecting into that intuition and channeling that creative energy, again, we're going through the motions. So Virgo doesn't want, again, just like the angels had said, we don't need to go through the motions anymore. We need that fulfillment, that connection, that Ace of Wands, basically. All right, what further guidance and support does Virgo want to share with my friends? Now, like I said earlier, guys, I will be doing a reading for Mercury retrograde. Not next week, the week after, because Mercury retrograde comes in, I believe, on the second Thursday. Just a sec. Let's check the calendar, shall we? Where's my calendar? Here's my calendar. Mercury goes into retrograde, on the 9th of September. I'll be doing the reading on the 8th. So we've got some time with Mercury direct. So we're going to have about a week and a half, 2-ish weeks with Virgo, kind of in the direct mode. Other than that, we're going to have those added challenges of the communication disruption. So for my friends who aren't too sure what Mercury retrograde is, it's an optical illusion where instead of the planets going one way around the sun, it looks like they start to go backwards. It's an optical illusion. The planet actually doesn't do that. It's just the way that it's connected in with alignment to the sun. If you want to look into it more, I would say Google is your friend there so that you can get more of the scientific of it. But know that optical illusion of it going backwards does impact us because Mercury's our communication planet. It helps to rule that communication, what is said, what is heard. So of course that includes our technology, because it's one of the ways that we hear and learn. We are able to share our words. So no, this is the time of year. It usually comes up 3 times. Unfortunately, in 2022, we have it 4 times. We really struggle at this time of year. And it's an ongoing struggle. All planets go into retrograde. I don't know if Earth goes into retrograde. I know we're not impacted by it because we don't see it. We're not impacted by what optically it would look like for the other planets. However, all the other planets go into retrograde for varying degrees of time, varying numbers of time during the year. It's just Mercury. Sometimes people are really connected into Mars or Venus. And also will depend on, again, that astrological birth chart. What planets are predominant for you? Okay, let's see what more information they want to share. I love this version. The 10 of Cups. One of the 2 family cards that we have in the deck. Of course, it connects into that family, that center. Family is going to be important. And I'd like to say family is not just, this is my mom and my dad. Sure, they can be important. However, we also know that our birth family can be very challenging at times. There may be people that are not as positive as we want or would hope. Family is truly what you make of it. We have soulmates that come into our lives through partners, through friends, through connections. What the 10 of Cups is talking about is that very diverse family setting, including those astral family members that aren't with us. So we've got lots of support. It's going to be important that you ask for the help. The physical forms, they're caught up in their own world. They may notice something's different or that you're being challenged by stuff. However, it's not a guarantee. So make sure that you use your words. Even if you don't know what it is you need help with, you can say, I'm struggling. Can you help me? Again, with the high vibrational support team, so those high vibrational beings, your astral family members, you can ask for any and all high vibrational help that will support me in overcoming fill in the blank, whatever it is. You need to use the words, though, to ask for the help, because we're not supposed to do this journey alone, yet we still sometimes do, right? We feel like we have to, and that's the furthest from the truth. The Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords talks about, of course, that innocent, playful energy, but, well, it's the sword. It's all about knowledge, that pursuit of knowledge. And it's not surprising that we have this in Virgo, because they're the attention to detail, that precision energy. Well, we need to be mindful of this page. Not only do we want that very enthusiastic exploration for knowledge, we don't want to get too caught up in that precision, because precision can narrow that scope and we can miss out. We put blinders on and then we don't see the periphery. We don't see everything. So making sure that we have that playful energy, not that, oh my God, it's only this way, because that can easily happen in Virgo. Okay. And I'm not picking on Virgo, we're just talking about it. All zodiac signs have their good qualities and some that we struggle with. We have to be mindful of. So it's that, again, we go back to that balance. Not sure if we talked about this. I said there was 2 family cards. Well, here's the second, the 10 of Pentacles. This really does talk about that diversity in family. Family can be what you make of it. They're supportive and around you. So the 10 of Pentacles, of course, echoes with the 10 of Cups set. What we need to do is be very mindful about using our words and asking for the help we need. And what's more, being open to support those who ask us for help. We do want to keep in mind that we don't want to burn ourselves up. However, we do want to be there for our friends and family. The relationships we're looking at should be a healthy, balanced relationship. You give, they give. Both receive. And that's going to be the trick, because some relationships may be asking for a lot, especially during Mercury retrograde, because it is a time of struggle. So it is going to be about making those boundaries and calling your limitations, because there's only so many hours in the day. This is the second time you guys received this card in the last 2 days. Please be careful and mindful that over Virgo, there's going to be challenge, a lot of it. That's going to minimize some of this understanding. It's going to minimize these opportunities, because we're going to be caught up in the pain and the hurt of the shift and change that the universe is kicking you into. So be prepared for it. How? Ground yourself, stabilize yourself, so that you're working from your frontal cortex, you're working with your faculties rather than being reactive. Reaction causes more problems. We need to see what it is the universe wants us to change, and then what's more, work with it. The more we resist it, the more that this is coming up. So there is going to be sudden and uncontrollable change coming forward. The 4 of Cups. Really reconfirming the fact that it's going to be super easy to miss out on these opportunities, to miss out on these possibilities, because we are going to be so caught up in what may happen, what the Tower is bringing forward. And come on, table. There we go. Needed a little bit more space. Super easy to lose out. We have a tendency to miss what's in plain sight. So Virgo will help us see what's right in front of us. But it's those missing pieces, or the pieces that kind of keep us stuck, that create that blah humdrum life. They're going to be more predominant. Even though this is beautiful, that holy grail is right in front of you. be aware, it's going to be so easy to miss it because you're going to be reacting rather than observing and learning. That's why we have the Page of Swords. That's why it came out first. It's because that Page of Swords is going to be needed. It's very valuable right now. Should turn the card. The Ace of Swords. Of course, the Ace of Swords, we're looking at those ahas and how important they're going to be. With the Tower in play, those ahas are going to be so important. I can just keep saying, you need to stay in control of you. Be aware that during the reign of Virgo, and the angels yesterday warned you about this, that there is going to be sudden change. The Tower is in play. Now, the angel reading, I don't give a end or beginning end start. Sorry, that didn't make sense. I'm already having problems with Mercury retrograde. I didn't give a start or an end date. But Virgo, it does have a start and an end date, and the Tower is in play. So know that that's going to be coming up. Unfortunately, we don't have an exact date. Everybody is going to be a little bit differently. So take that time. Make sure that you know what's coming in. So I said ground and stabilize yourself. How do you do that? Well, I've got a lot of supports on my channel. I have meditations and healings that can help you with that groundedness. It can help you take away some of that heaviness, that gunk, releasing some of that pain. So I go through. I've got 3 meditative playlists. I've got a mindfulness playlist, and I've got like 3 healing playlists. These are all guided and free. I'm not a monetized channel. As of this reading, I'm not monetized. So know that we have those supports. Additionally, crystals are amazing support for us to maintain some of these energies. They help amplify it. So something like this is labradorite. It's a fairly easy crystal to get. It would help with the grounding because of the color. It connects in with our root chakra, but it also is a guardian or a protector. So it can help with some of that trauma and some of that pain and those energies that are coming forward. Again, same. Smoky quartz can help with some of that clarity. It can help with some of that grounding. So go through. There's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of crystals. Use your tools. If you're not a crystal person, what tools do you use? What helps? Then start to make sure that you have those readily available, as we know the time of shifting and changing and challenges coming forward. And yes, Mercury retrograde will be a part of this. So, okay, what supports will help my friends overcome the Tower and those challenges, while at the same time paying attention to those little details and getting the most out of the reign of Virgo? Okay. Consistency. It's going to be important that you remain not only in control of you, but consistent for you. So making sure that you're not trying to make major shifts or changes during this time. You want things, like I said, slow and steady. That you want to maintain that routine, that schedule, especially as we kick ourselves into September. The kids go back to school, and those summer holidays, they start to ease up a bit. We get into that routine. That routine and structure will support you in maintaining that stability because it's familiar. Use that network or that framework to support you in further growth. So scheduling it in. It may feel a little bit tedious. However, that little bit will go a long way in staying in control and staying up in that frontal cortex that helps you process. It helps you bring those problem-solving skills to the forefront. Also, not surprisingly, we've got that intuition right there. All of that frontal part really does help us make decisions that are for our greater good, that help us rather than be reactive, because that reactivity is going to cause even more challenge. Influence. Very much connected into the 210s, and we're looking at how people are influencing us and how we influence others. We need to be mindful of who it is we're around. Yes, we want that connection. That connection is very important, especially during the reign of Virgo, and yes, during Mercury retrograde. However, you want to make sure that you're choosing those positive people that love you for you. They don't try to change you. They accept you for you. And like I said, you have that positive relationship. Repetition. Again, those patterns, those repeated schedules, we're going to find that not only as kind of a safety or kind of a stable energy, but that repetition will support us in creating more stability and more calm within ourselves. And also, please don't be surprised with the number of repetitions you will see. The high vibrational beings are going to continue to support you. Even though we might be struggling, that's when they come to us the most. So know that they're going to have those repeated synchronistic situations. That's where Virgo is going to come in really handy, because it's that attention to detail that we need. Just be mindful. We don't want to swing too far where we're hyper-focused, because if we're hyper-focused on one thing, there's all sorts of things around us that we're missing. So that repetition will come forward. Oops, bumped my table. Motion. We need to get going. The angels were clear about that yesterday. Virgo is reiterating that need to start to go forward, because the stagnation has brought problems. When we start to use our abilities, our tools, ourselves, and move ourselves slowly and steadily away from that stagnant stuck, we're moving ourselves away from that blast zone, minimizing the impact of the tower. So Virgo is very much picking up from where the angels, they were talking about yesterday. So know that that motion, that connection, and that challenge is still there. We're really going to see it come forward in the time of Virgo. And guys, just so you know, lack of decision, lack of certainty, and that uncertainty, that kind of fear mentality is a decision. It will keep you stuck and right in that blast zone. So Virgo is encouraging you to get going slowly and steadily. I hope that you enjoyed this time with Virgo, and that you gain a little bit more insight into what you can expect over the next 4 weeks. Now, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as it helps people find me on the sea of YouTube. More importantly, though, there is more supports, tools, and guidance coming forward. You don't want to miss any of it, so subscribing and hitting that bell lets you know when I'm live or when I've posted, so you don't miss out on any of it. And if you want even further support, I do have a Patreon page. I've left a link below, and I add in even more supports. Again, I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope that this helps you understand Virgo a little bit better on what you can expect for the next 4 weeks. Thanks so much for joining me. Until tomorrow, my friends.